Protests breaking out across Los Angeles County after a day of ICE operations in that city and other parts of the country, including here in the Bay Area. Good evening on this Saturday. I'm Christina Rendon. Let's get right to video showing demonstrators out on the streets in the city of Paramount in Los Angeles County today. We have been monitoring as those clashes are growing more intense. Smoke grenades were deployed here and at least one protester was injured. You can see here at one point a car was set on fire. Protests in L.A. started Friday afternoon with 44 people arrested yesterday. One of them was David Huerta, the president of SEIU California Labor Union. We want to give you a live look now at those protests happening in Los Angeles County. This is from our sister station in Los Angeles as Skyfox is overhead. You can see a number of Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies bordering an intersection right near Compton and the city of Paramount, and it is exactly where we saw that car set on fire hours ago. We have also been watching as protesters are creating damage or just trying to destroy property of LA County Sheriff's Office officials. If we zoom in here, we can potentially see the damage that we are seeing on the ground. It appears right now people are just blocked off and those clashes don't appear to be coming to a head just yet, with protesters keeping their distance from those Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies. Again, all of this happening in Los Angeles County near the city of Paramount and the city of Compton. We'll keep an eye on things and let you know as soon as we get an update on potential arrests or potential injuries if we hear of them. And late today, the White House said National Guard troops would be deployed to Los Angeles in the wake of those protests. Less than an hour ago, Governor Newsom posted this message on social media. He called that decision, quote, purposefully inflammatory and will only escalate tensions. He goes on to say the Guard has been admirably serving LA throughout recovery. This is the wrong mission.
Clash in California, Trump and Newsom. Spar over National Guard. Claiming that state officials cannot perform their duties, U.S. President Donald Trump dispatched the National Guard to control Los Angeles' immigration insurgencies. Donald Trump is deploying 2,000 California National Guard troops to Los Angeles over the objections of Governor Gavin Newsom after a second day of clashes between hundreds of protesters and federal immigration authorities in riot gear. Newsom wrote on social media, "The federal government is creating chaos so it can have an excuse to escalate things. This is not the way any civilized country behaves." He described the decision to deploy the National Guard as a deliberate and cowardly action, adding that it would only escalate tensions. Trump reacted to Gavin Newsom in a posting on his Truth Social platform on Saturday, writing, "If Governor Gavin Newsom of California and Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles can't fulfill their duties that everyone knows they can't, then the federal government will step in and solve the problem of rioters and looters the way it needs to be solved." Confrontations broke out on Saturday near a Home Depot in the heavily Latino city of Paramount, south of Los Angeles, where federal agents were staging at a Department of Homeland Security office nearby. Agents unleashed tear gas, flashbang explosives and pepper balls, and protesters hurled rocks and cement at Border Patrol vehicles. Smoke wafted from small piles of burning refuse in the streets. Tensions were high after a series of sweeps by immigration authorities the previous day, including in LA's Fashion District and at a Home Depot, as the week-long tally of immigrant arrests in the city climbed past 100. A prominent union leader was arrested while protesting and accused of impeding law enforcement. The White House announced that Trump would deploy the Guard to address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester. It wasn't clear when the troops would arrive. In a signal of the administration's aggressive approach, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth threatened to deploy the U.S. military. If violence continues, active-duty Marines at Camp Pendleton will also be mobilized. They are on high alert, Hegseth said on X. Trump's order came after clashes in Paramount and neighboring Compton, where a car was set on fire. Protests continued into the evening in Paramount, with several hundred demonstrators gathered near a donut shop and authorities holding up barbed wire to keep the crowd back. Crowds also gathered again outside federal buildings in downtown Los Angeles, including a detention center where local police declared an unlawful assembly and began to arrest people. Standoff in Paramount. Earlier in Paramount, immigration officers faced off with demonstrators at the entrance to a business park across from the back of a Home Depot. They set off fireworks and pulled shopping carts into the street, broke up cinder blocks and pelted a procession of Border Patrol vans as they departed and careened down a boulevard. U.S. Attorney Bill Escalate said federal agents made more arrests of people with deportation orders on Saturday, but none at the Home Depot. The Department of Homeland Security has a building next door and agents were staging there as they prepared to carry out operations, he said on Fox 11 Los Angeles. He didn't say how many people were arrested Saturday or where. Paramount Mayor Peggy Lemons told multiple news outlets that community members showed up in response because people are fearful about activity by immigration agents. When you handle things the way that this appears to be handled, it's not a surprise that chaos would follow, Lemons said. Some demonstrators jeered at officers while recording the events on smartphones. "Ice out of Paramount, we see you for what you are," a woman said through a megaphone. "You are not welcome here." More than a dozen people were arrested and accused of impeding immigration agents. Escalate posted on X, including the names and mugshots of some of those arrested. He didn't say where they were protesting. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement that the work the immigration authorities were doing when met with protests is essential to halting and reversing the invasion of illegal criminals into the United States. In the wake of this violence, California's feckless Democrat leaders have completely abdicated their responsibility to protect their citizens. The president's move came shortly after he issued a threat on his social media network, saying that if Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass did not do their jobs, then the federal government will step in and solve the problem riots and looters the way it should be solved. Speaking on TV station ABC7, Bass said that, "We certainly want to make the opportunities available for people to exercise their First Amendment rights, but the minute that things turn to violence, that is not acceptable and people are going to be held accountable." She said she had spoken with members of the Trump administration and insisted that she and Newsom were in control, and there was no need for the National Guard to be deployed. Arrests in Los Angeles. Protests kicked off a day earlier in Los Angeles after federal authorities arrested 44 people for violating immigration law Friday. The Department of Homeland Security later said recent ICE operations in Los Angeles resulted in the arrest of 118 immigrants, including 5 people linked to criminal organizations and people with prior criminal histories. David Huerta, regional president of the Service Employees International Union, was also arrested Friday while protesting. The Justice Department confirmed that he was being held Saturday at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles ahead of a scheduled Monday court appearance. Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called for his immediate release, warning of a disturbing pattern of arresting and detaining American citizens for exercising their right to free speech. The Trump administration's continued warnings and threats come as the Los Angeles Police Department says protests across the city are now proceeding peacefully. Like and subscribe for more information. Thanks!